Good morning, students. I am Rajni. I am going to teach you social studies. This is class 8, and we are going to start with history. And your chapter number 1 is the modern period. First of all, we must know what is history. So, history is study of change. By studying history, we try to know how things were in past and how they changed over time. For example, if you ask your parents and grandparents about their childhood, you will find a lot of difference in their childhood and your childhood. Study of these changes is called history. Now, next is importance of dates in history. We usually find history boring as we don't like to remember so many dates. Actually, earlier history was considered date centric and revolved around the life of powerful people like kings, ruler, governor generals, when they crowned, when they were born, etc. etc. But gradually, historians they started believing that history is more about dates. Now, history has become the study of common people, their lives, and new ideas. Now, dates in history are linked to important events. For some events, for example, battles, specific dates can be assigned, but for some processes, there can be no fixed dates. We can assign years or centuries to such processes. For example, you can't tell on which particular date use of tea or coffee was started, or we can't pinpoint the day, the month, or year when feeling of nationalism started growing among the people of India. Student, as you know, different people have different perspective about everything. Everybody has different perceptions about everything. Now, similarly, our historians, they also have different perceptions about division of history. James Mill, a Scottish economist and political philosopher, he divided history into three parts in his book, A History of British India. He divided Indian history into Hindu, Muslim, and British period. His division was based on religion of ruler. According to him, Indians were at lower level of civilization under Hindu and Muslim rulers, and it was the only Britishers who could civilize India. But his division was full of drawbacks as it was based on religion of ruler. Akbar was tolerant towards other religions also. So, in order to get a clean picture of important changes in history, historians divided history in three parts again. Later, historians they divided Indian history into three periods: ancient, medieval, and modern. In ancient history, in class 6th, you have learnt about early men, how they do hunting for their survival. You have learned how civilization started, how new kingdoms and different empires emerged. You have learnt about Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka, Prithviraj Chauhan, etc. etc. That you have studied in class 6th. In class 7th, you have studied medieval history, under which you have studied about different dynasties, Delhi Sultanate, and Mughal Empire. Now, in class 8, you are going to learn about modern history. In this period, in this history, you will study about transition from ancient period to modern period. You will learn how Britishers who came to India as a trading company, how could they rule over India. You will learn about socio-cultural changes that came in India under the influence of British. You will learn how the feeling of nationalism grown up among the Indians. You will learn struggle of Indians against British which led to freedom of India, and you will learn the condition of India after independence. Students, as I told you earlier, that different persons have different perceptions about everything. Similarly, different historians they have different perspective about history also, as James Mill divided history into Hindu, Muslim and British period. Some historians they found problem in that. Now some historians found problem with this periodization also. According to them, modernity reflects material progress, intellectual advancement, economic prosperity, and equality. But Indians did not have freedom, equality, and economic independence under British rule. That is why some historians call this period colonial period. Now, what is colonialism? The capture of one country by another country is called colonialism. For example, the British colonized India. India was a colony for Britishers, and Britishers established their control over economy and society of India. So students, we are going to study the sources of Indian history in modern history in our next video. Now what is your homework? You need to draw both the flow charts of periodization of history according to James Mill also and according to modern historians also. See you in next video. Have a good day.